think about it, I'm simplifying this a little bit, but testing traditionally has been a phase really performed at the end of the development life cycle. And this is long after the code has been written, all right? And also that a lot of the testing tasks involve scrutinizing large amounts of documentation, specifications, and these have been written long before any code has been written. So one has been, so the actual testing phase, the execution of testing is long after the code has been written, and the specs are written long before the code has been written. So there's a lot of potential for misunderstanding and gaps. So when the testers actually run their tests, they really have acted as gatekeepers, and they're responsible for quality control. In this new world, a lot of the development work is done in small cycles, small iterations, sprints, whatever you'd like to call them. And so a lot of this work is done in parallel, concurrently. So there isn't so much of this gap. But it also means that testers need to keep up to support the team to have a sustained pace of delivery of the items that we're building. With the Agile and iterative and incremental software development approaches, the landscape has certainly changed. And one of the key changes that we're finding is that in a mature Agile team, the team members are expected to be fully cross-functional, cross-skilled, self-organizing, collaborative, and stable. So with this team who have a shared vision about what they need to deliver, everyone is responsible for quality. So really the team owns test management, and so there's less likely a need for a specific test manager. Well, in this day and age, we really need to support the team and not hinder them, which, you know, the perception was that we sort of hindered and we caused roadblocks along the way with the traditional development lifecycle. So we don't really want to be waiting for the code to be delivered to us. So that means that testing really needs to start earlier, and it needs to be continuous, and it needs to be part of everyone's role. Okay. So new skills are being developed, things like test automation, especially around the execution part of testing, especially around regression. If that's done properly, then the testers are having more time to actually be a bit more considered around the manual approaches to testing. So we're seeing a lot more take up with exploratory testing and things like that. Well, I suppose that, as I described earlier, there are a lot less communication gaps, a lot less mistakes being made as documents are being handed over to various people who write more documents, who then write code. You're also getting a lot faster feedback, and that mechanism is really important. You know, the whole development life cycle in a traditional model, it might take 9 months for us to start our testing, and the feedback, you know, is that we don't like the system. It's a long time to wait to find out that you don't like a system. So the feedback cycles are a lot shorter, the loops are shorter. And also we can tell whether we're meeting quality expectations sooner in that case. And there's also a lot more thought, you know, there's a lot more thinking happening because it's more complex, this world that we're dealing with. We have to keep up with changes. So that's exciting, and also less waste. I can't really predict the future. You know, the change is huge at the moment. Software testing will continue to be really important, to be critical. Whether it's called software testing or something else, that remains to be seen. But at the end of the day, software will drive the future. It's in our cars, it's in your phone. And the skills that testers will need to adapt to that future. But one thing is for sure, they'll be needed. We're going to rely more and more on software, and it needs to work, and we need to trust that it works as well.